What is happening, guys? Welcome to the Monday after for game week 25. It is 8 o'clock on the Monday, and we're going to be going over everything about game week 25. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I've made a lot of changes to the stream. Not the content. Content's going to be the same. It's just going to be me chatting shit and you guys listening, and we'll have a bit of a laugh about fantasy football. But there's two major changes. One, the stream is going to look a little bit different because I've made some upgrades to it. And two, I'm no longer in the bottom. I'm no longer in the millions. So we're not allowed to laugh at me anymore. We can't laugh at me anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's changed now. We're now professional. We're now doing this. So there's gonna be a few changes around here, right? I don't want to hear anyone chatting shit about my overall rank. No, I'm kidding. But it was an extremely good week, and we're gonna start the week off with just basically looking at how the wild card panned out and what I'm thinking about in terms of transfers from here on out. We're also going to be going over Sheffield United in particular, because obviously the blanks are coming up. We don't know what we're going to be doing with them. Then we're going to look at fixture swings. We're going to be looking at a few teams that I've kind of picked out for potential Lundstrom transfers, because he's dead, and we gotta move him on. And then we're gonna go over strikers, because I transferred in Aubameyang and Aguero and they did nothing. But did they do nothing? Kinda, but we'll find out later. That was my teaser. And last but not least, we're going to go and find out what the hell do we do with midfielders, because there doesn't seem to be any good ones. So we're going to have a look at that. And that's pretty much everything that's going to be coming up in the stream. All right, so this is my game week. Game week 25 was... people are coughing at each other in the chat and all sorts of stuff, right? This is my game week. Game week 25 went incredibly well. 2 game weeks in a row now, I've had around about 80 points, about 20 points higher than the average. And it's just kind of shot my... it's been shooting my game week rank up. I am now in the 715,000 mark, which is, compared to last season, still absolutely atrocious. But compared to 2 game weeks ago, it's about half. I was about 1.45 million. And it's been really, really good. I took a lot of risks. Really, the last game week, the risk was triple captain Salah instead of Mane, because I knew he was going to be lesser triple captained. I didn't expect anyone to get injured. I just thought I'll do it for the least owned person and hope for the best. And it worked out. And then this game week, I still didn't hit the top million. So I sent my team in to the guys at Fantasy Weekly, and I was like, right, here we go. I'm not in the top million. I want to see a little bit of I'm doing my wild card. Let's go. And it looked basically like everyone else's wild card. Like everyone else's wild card. We all had double Liverpool defense, double or triple Sheffield United, a peppering of, Lascelles or another cheap defender. And the midfield was dominated by Traore, Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, and then up front you had a mix between a bunch of them. So I went with this team here. And, we don't have to talk about the strikers too much because it didn't really work out. But the defense, it's the first time in a very long time where we've had a full defense, man. Thank you very much, Tom. Nice climb, lad. And Liam is also in the chat. And he's in 600k. We both kind of risen above the plebs in the bottom million. Ugh. Horrible people. And we're now civilized in the top million. Tom's saying, wait, why are you describing my wildcard? Exactly. So, I mean, like, everyone kind of had the similar wildcard. So let's start at the top. Aubameyang and Aguero were cutting. Their chances were... frustrating to watch. I wasn't able to catch the Arsenal game in full because my brother had a baby and I had to go and see it. It was actually really nice. Yeah, the baby was really lovely, but I missed Arsenal. But apparently it didn't really miss much, which was always nice. But Aubameyang, he had a cross that Lacazette should have scored, so that was one big chance he'd created. And then he had that like whiff where he just like knocked the ball with his tippy toes and it just went flying. He also had a pretty decent lob effort that Pope saved. And then finally that header was really, really close. There was quite a few chances for Aubameyang that I was happy with him so far. It doesn't make me scared. Like, he's in for the long haul in my opinion. And as you can see here, his fixtures are pretty amazing. So there's no point in jumping on right now. Obviously the blank is there, but we'll come to that in a bit. Aguero, similar. You guys all, we watched the City game. For those who didn't watch the City game, Spurs should have conceded like 5 goals in the first half, and then a red card happened. They kind of got back into it in the second half. Then the red card happened, and then yeah, 2-0. So a wonder goal by their new signing that I can't pronounce. But yeah. All right, moving on to the midfield. Traore, dislocated shoulder. I'm not 100% sure what's going to be happening with him. I know that the managers came out and said that he's fine, so that's decent. De Bruyne, you know, he's a fail-safe. He's not going anywhere. Salah, of course, captain. Everyone captained him, getting a goal at the end of the game just to make everyone even that little bit happier. And then Moy, or Mui, or Moe, or however the fuck you want to pronounce it. I don't care how you pronounce. I care about results. And his result was not bad. He actually looked pretty good. I know there was 3 goals, and it would be a shame that he didn't get anything from it. But he had 2 really good chances, and he was in the box quite a bit. So I put him on instead of Ings. Didn't think Ings was going to get anything. I also didn't want to have Ings on the pitch against 2 of my defenders. So I thought, you know, I'll just put Mui on. And it didn't really matter in the end. But Moe definitely had a better game. FPL Tips says Traore will be fine, he imagines. That's decent. What's happening, buddy? Thank you very much for being here. Hugh Patrick Campbell, a new follower. 266 followers out of 300. When we hit 300, I'm going to bring the general on or something. I'll do something crazy. But yeah, no, we've got Hugh Patrick. He is a new follower, and also Lolskis, who followed during the weekend there. So that was really nice. Thank you very much. If you're here and you haven't followed me, just stick a wee follow in so we can get to 300 and I can do something awesome. I haven't figured it out yet, but it will be great. Might even get a green screen or something. Go nuts. Pretend I'm in Celtic Park. Okay, let's move on to the defense. Gomez, Alexander-Arnold, the exact same point, 6'6", 6'6", as well as Egan and Stevens. Now, I had heard on who is Moe, says Zlatan. Yeah, no, I mean, I can't pronounce people's names. Like, not only do I just, I'm suck at English in general, but like Scottish and then Canadian. So even if I'm pronouncing shit, I'll pronounce it in American accents. It's not the best. Not the best. Moy. Is it just Moy? Yeah, see, that's not how he spells it, Tips. Tips has spelled it M-O-Y. If it was pronounced that way, then fuck it, Moy. Right, cool. I'm gonna Photoshop that. Right, we'll just hide the M like this. Can you guys see that? Awesome. Right, Moy. Perfect. So Alexander-Arnold and Gomez. Now, I went with Gomez in the end over Virgil van Dijk because I wanted to do the big, powerful striker force up front, Aubameyang, Aguero, and of course the very, very, very premium striker Ings. I wanted to keep him instead of having to downgrade. So KDB, not KDB. Yeah, I've got KDB and Salah, and they all cost a lot of money, right? So there's gonna be fringe players around the place, and Gomez was one of the easiest ways into that defense. And I'm not too worried. He didn't have the best game ever. And he looked really shaky in the game before that. Like, he gave up a lot of silly things. He seems to have a really good footing, but then he'll make a mistake. He's kind of like the Mustafi, but Mustafi doesn't have, Virgil van Dijk beside him. So I'm not too worried. But if it does look to be a little bit of like oh no, Gomez might be getting taken out by one of the other centre-backs that have came back, then I'll just try and like justify taking him out, taking one of the top guys out, Aubameyang or Aguero, and then getting Mane back. So that's the plan if Gomez kind of falls to shit. Egan and Stevens was supposed to be Egan and Lundstrom. Now, like a lot of people, I own Lundstrom. Everyone fucking owns Lundstrom. But now he's a bit of a liability. He's been benched twice. He's came on. Zlatan! Thank you very much for the follow, buddy. Appreciate it. 267. We're getting there. We're so getting there. Lucas David. Gomez is a nailed starter, he says in the chat. Yeah, no, I definitely think I'm pretty sure he'll be nailed. I'm not worried about him. I just have like a plan B in case it goes wrong. But I would absolutely advocate for him if you wanted to go down to him. Gomez has been fantastic, and I don't see Matip replacing him anytime soon. That's from Chinese Tom. Chinese Tom's amazing. Chinese. Why have I never called you that before on the stream? Chinese Tom. Gomez conceded 8 goals in 35 games. Oof. Not just him. I mean, he does 25% of the work of the centre backs, I guess. Drinking bullet today for those that are keeping score. So Lundstrom was supposed to be there, but I decided to take him out. I was awake Friday night for a long time, and I was up till like 4 a.m. just fixing my wildcard, making sure I knew it. Because last time I just did my wildcard in 20 minutes, and of course it went wrong. This time I was like, yes, I'm absolutely doing amazing. I'm gonna just like smash this wildcard. And I stayed up for a long time and had it all set out. And then I woke up at like 11 o'clock with a few messages saying, Lundstrom's not going to be, like, he's probably not going to be playing. There's a rumor that he's not playing, blah, 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 blah. So I had to, like, scramble to get enough money for Stevens, and I took a few guys out. And I accidentally kept Williams in. Williams was saving me 0.1 million over Lascelles. But then I had to take someone out to bring Stevens in, and I lost Lascelles. So that's the only thing that happened with that. But I'm very happy with Stevens. In my opinion, with the Lundstrom, and this is kind of a good jumping off point to go into our first topic, which is Sheffield United. Lundstrom's dead, and that's cool. If he comes back, it doesn't bother me, because although, yes, he's in a great attacking positions quite a lot of the time, he works really hard and gets assists and all the rest of it, and your game score just goes mental if he does anything, and that's awesome, right? But just, I've got too much risk to be dealing with the extra risk. This wildcard was just a risky. Everyone who did the wildcard game week 25, it was a risky strategy, Cotton, and it paid off. But taking Lundstrom out kind of at least nullified a little bit of that risk, especially considering I went Henderson, Egan, and Stevens. So that was a bit of a difficult to stomach for such a safe manager. But a safe manager at 1.4 million, like I'm not gonna go anywhere. So I've got to do things a little bit different now. Which is why I'm probably going to be captaining Aguero next week instead of Salah. We'll find out why later. Zlatan, so glad of you to join, buddy. Chinese Tom is now speaking Chinese in the chat. Going to wrap that. Hugh Patrick Kelsa dropped all my Sheffield United players on wildcard because of the blank week. Yeah, so we'll go through to there. Lord Lunny may piss in our mouths. He wishes he can do no wrong. He can do no wrong, and I would never bench him. I would just take him out, unfortunately. Also, we're going to have to get an RIP El Neni at some point in time. Williams over Tanganga looks to be most people's mistake with a wild card. Yeah. Look, I put him in there and he got benched the first time in 3 game weeks. There's not really much I can do. But I'm sure that he's not going to be sitting there. And as long as he plays game week 28, it won't be that big of a deal. So, right. Sheffield United are blanking. And we know this because Aston Villa's amazing last-minute winner against Vardy and his friends. Which is really annoying because they had an amazing run. Bournemouth, Brighton, it would have been Aston Villa, Norwich, Newcastle. Great time to triple up. Now, for those that did it, rewarded right away, that can carry us for the next game or so if they concede against Bournemouth and Brighton. Now, how do we look at Bournemouth and Brighton? I'm going to show you guys now on the next page. With Bournemouth and Brighton, we look at goals conceded for Sheffield United in the last, since December 28, which is the last 6 games, so since the Liverpool game, they've conceded they've conceded 6 times, which is incredible. That's really, 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 really good compared to Liverpool. No one's going to get Liverpool stats. They've conceded once. 6 goals in 8 games is a really, really, really good. So I'm liking that right away. Then we look at the expected goals for the teams that they're just about to play. So Bournemouth is 5th last. They should have only scored about 7 goals, but they've only scored 5 in the last 6 games. So that's terrible. Then we look at Brighton, who are a little bit better, doing a little bit better with 8, but not so much more, right? Just 2 more. So 2 pretty good fixtures for them, both in the fact that they have only conceded 6 goals in the last 6 games, but on top of that, you know, their opponents aren't really shooting that much. Crystal Palace, of course, was one of the best games we could have hoped for to start us off. They are dead last. They can't score to save themselves. I also wanted to point out something awesome was the actual fixture run that Sheffield United have been on to get this has been incredible. So, like I said, that's from the Leicester game, or Liverpool game, which has been 2-0, and then they played West Ham, which they won 1-0. Then Arsenal, then Man City. They have only conceded 4 goals against Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. That's fucking mental. That's so good. That is worth tripling up for, despite the blanks. Because, first of all, I've got McCarthy there, so that's easy for me. If you are not wildcarding, it's a bit more difficult to make that decision. However, I would happily have 2 Sheffield United players on the bench for that week, and then maybe Aguero or Aubameyang, one of them, and just play the rest of my guys, because they're so worth having. Their stats are particularly good if we take out the Liverpool game. Like, it's just they're one of the best. I'm not going to show you that; it takes too long. But believe me, they're good. We all know they're good. But how good? Actually, a lot better. A lot better. Bricky, how's it going, man? Appreciate you coming in. Oh wow, there's a few guys here. Charlie, how's it going? Can you explain what's going on with the Premier League matches next week? Yes, I can. So next week we've got the mid-winter break, and a lot of the teams are having their break at slightly different times. Yeah, a lot of Wolfpacks in here. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast I was on with Andy, Teach Mode, and Elmo. The next team that I wanted to talk about, just before we move on to the actual blanks, just because I've got it up here, Southampton are at the top of Tim Byers' Premier League fixture table that he's done, as you can see in front of me. Burnley, Aston Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Norwich, and then Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have gotten their defense together a little bit, so that's cool. But that is a tasty run. Everyone last week who were on their wild card probably were saying to themselves, oh, no, he got rested and he blanked, and now he's playing Liverpool. I probably don't want to have him. But everyone this week doing their wild card are going to be like, I want Ings. And I just benched him because I bought him at like 5.5 million or something. Or no, 6.1, even worse. 6.1 I bought him at. So I didn't want to get rid of him, so I've just benched him. Now, that is a very, very, very tasty fixture run. But it also is really good for defense. Now, we just watched Southampton get decimated by Liverpool. Now, although Liverpool are at the tip top of their game right now, they only beat West Ham 2-0. And that doesn't mean that West Ham's defense is better than Southampton's, which is kind of an off day. So I'm not 100% sure what happened. There was penalties and stuff and blah, blah, and last game. So if that penalty never happened in the last goal at the very last second didn't go in, it's 2-0, and that seems a bit more respectable, right? Right. Let's take, for talking's sake, the last 5 games, but not including the Liverpool one. So just for talking's sake, we're talking about, let's triple check off the top of my head, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crystal Palace, Tottenham, Leicester, Wolves, and Crystal Palace, right? So for those 5 games, if we look at goals conceded, Southampton are 4th, right there in front of you guys. They're 4th. They've got 8 goals scored, most of them Ings, let's be honest. And Southampton have conceded 5 goals. And they should have only conceded 5 goals. That's what that number, XGA is around about 5. So it's not like a fluke. It's not like they've just been doing amazing, but they shouldn't be, and everyone's hitting the bar or the post or whatever the fuck, right? They're actually worth just 5 goals conceded in 5 games, not including the Liverpool one that just happened. Because then it goes up to 9 goals in 6 games, right? Which is a little bit, it's still really, really good. That 4-0 kind of messes the stats up a little bit. So in defense, we've got a few different options, right? So they've just bought Kyle Walker-Peters, and we all remember that triple assist that happened last year, which was tremendous. They've also just got rid of Cedric, so that means that it's just him, Kyle Walker-Peters, and Valerie to play against in that one position. So it's very possible that they've got a 4.4 million defender, like attacking defender, for these really, really good fixture runs in Kyle Walker-Peters. If not, if you're like, he's a bit of a risk and I don't want to take risks yet, and I'm not where you were, David, so stop telling me to take risks and all that shit, blah, 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 blah. Awesome, I get it. I'm with you. I understand. Let's have a look at who else they own, right? Stevens, 4.4. He's played every single game since he got back from his injury. They also have Bednarak, but I think he's not as attacking as Stevens. Aryank, thank you very much for the follow. Aryank24, apologies. Sometimes people put numbers in their name and it's important to them. You got to remember to say it. I'm so sorry, mate. 24. Thank you very much for the follow. Also, Danzo at right back, but Danzo is crap and Valerie is more a wing back. But Spurs fans don't rate KWP, so I don't know. Might go Stevens. Yes, exactly. Hey, words out of my mouth, right? You've got Bednarak, you've got Stevens, and you've got Valerie, potentially. Danzo now, although he obviously is a little bit like a risk as well. I'm not 100% sure what's going to be happening with him. Kyle Walker-Peters, I know that Spurs fans don't rate him, right? But that's because not only are they Spurs, right? I'm not taking it. They're very critical of their players, but also like he hasn't really had a chance, right? He's played like 240 minutes this year, and the only reason was because they had that red card at the start of the season for a few of their players. So I feel like he could be really, really good. He's young. He knows how to cross a ball. We know that Kyle Walker-Peters can have an assist. So the fact that they're playing really shit teams and they've got such a good run, I'm really looking towards Kyle Walker-Peters for the blank if I'm going to be covering someone. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Did Tammy to Ings. Tammy to Ings is pretty decent. Coming from a Chelsea fan as well, says FPL Tips. Brilliant move. Yeah, no, I like that. I got Tammy to fuck. I lost money on him, the little dickhead, as well. Lucas Davis says, Redmond or Ward-Prowse an option at all? I don't like the midfield, but that's only because I want everyone to get McCarthy, and then also their defense is good, and you can't go away from Ings. So you've got a goalkeeper, a defender, and you've got Ings. Now, if you really want to try and jump on someone, then it is really only Ward-Prowse, but there is better players for cheaper. Just remember that. Like Moy, I'd rather have. I think Traore's pretty much in that same zone. There's quite a few better players. We'll come to midfield at the end of the stream. It's my last topic for the FPL FAQ. But yeah, no, he's gonna be the second highest scorer. Put it that way. But then he's not this man here, right? Look at that smile. Look at that. Look at it. That is the man that you want. All right. So we talked about Southampton. We talked about Sheffield United. Liverpool, we all have 3. We don't need to talk about that. The last thing is obviously Arsenal. But I'm here to tell you guys right now that there is no one in Arsenal that you should be getting except for Aubameyang, or at the very end of the scale, Martinelli. I nearly forgot his name there. Martinelli. So there's only 2. I know that they just drew, and I know that on Match of the Day or whatever, maybe it was the commentators I did watch first, they were like, oh, Arteta's doing well with the defense. It's a rhetoric that I've heard a few times that, the defense is actually looking good, Bellerin's back, and blah, 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 blah. Fuck that. Burnley should have scored like 18 times. Not joking. Every single cross, it was Burnley getting it, and they were just missing. Hitting the bar just wide. I'm pretty sure Leno had to make some fantastic saves. McNeil just balls from wide positions. Constantly, their defense sucked fucking ass, and it should have been like 2-1. But it was 0-0, and, what can you do, Aubameyang owners? Now, Aubameyang has been doing this every season. He doesn't do anything, and he gets one shot and scores and gets all 3 bonus. Now, that's what we wanted him for. So the fact that he only had 3 chances is not that big of a deal. But you are paying a lot for him, and to draw against Burnley 0-0 is a bit of an issue. Not so much that I would take him out, but it would make me pause. However, the only other person that's near him is Aguero, and he also blanks. So we'll come to that later. Ariang says, I have Aguero, Ings, and DCL. What changes should I make? Well, part of our fixture swing is we're going to look at the bottom teams and see what teams are not playing, or that we did have a lot of faith in, and now we're probably going to have to move them on. Everton comes up, definitely. Crystal Palace are kind of against, so you could probably keep DCL for one more game. But after that, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool. And I think it goes on pretty much as bad as that until the end of the season. Now, I have to caveat this, Everton chat, because a few people have been like, I've got Everton, I've got Holgate, I've got DCL, like, their fixtures aren't so good. But remember last season when we were all getting rid of Dean because of the bad fixtures, and they went on their best ever clean sheet run? Do we remember that? Were you guys here for that? I was raging. I took Dean out just before a 13-pointer. He scored a free kick and all sorts of shit. He was doing absolutely amazing. So just for anyone I've said, like, take out Everton players, they did really, really well last time they had bad fixtures. And I'm just going to show you guys, because I was actually talking about this with someone in the... here we go. This was Everton's run last season. We all took them out. So we had them for like a decent run, game week 20 to 27, and then they were playing Man City, then Cardiff, not bad, then Liverpool, then Newcastle, not bad, then Chelsea, then West Ham, not bad, then Arsenal, then you get the picture, right? It was like off, on, and it was either you're fully included, and it was at the time where wild cards were happening, right? So Dean was a lot of money. You could take them the fuck out, right? So I took them out, and then look at that, right? Here we go. So they lost against Man City, then clean sheet, loss against Newcastle, clean sheet, loss against Fulham, clean sheet with 4 goals, clean sheet. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I'm telling people to take out Everton players, knowing full well that this is exactly where we were last season. And, you know, fool me once. What did Bush say? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you're never going to fool me again, right? So that's the caveat. But their fixtures are swinging, so we've got to cover them. Norwich, some people were thinking that Pookie was going to be going on a bit of a revival. He's not. Manchester United. Now, there's a team we can sit and talk about for at least half an hour before we all come to the same conclusion that it's just not worth it. Am I right, Flapjack? Am I right? How many Wolves are in the chat? There's like 4. There's like 4 of you. Zlatan, if you could let me know how to pronounce his name, their new striker that used to play for Watford, that would be amazing. Because it's IG Halo is how I'm going to pronounce it. Master Chief. IG Master Chief. Anyway, so a lot of people were like, you know, we've got Bruno Fernandes coming back, or coming in. We've got Pogba, maybe potentially come back, although we all know he's going to be moving on. Martial's still out of position. It might be worth jumping on Bruno Fernandes. And you know what? I watched that game and I watched him very, very closely, and I was really impressed. I thought he did so well. Wan-Bissaka stole the show, and he was rightly man of the match. Wan-Bissaka is their best signing by far. We all know how good he is. He was crossing. It wasn't just his defensive capabilities. Like, Wan-Bissaka is now creating a lot of chances, and I'm pretty sure Fantasy Football Scout Joe had him on his imminent points table, which is really, really impressive. So I like Wan-Bissaka. He's a bit too much money, and they've got shit fixtures, and I'll never bring them in. However, if Wan-Bissaka wasn't playing, Bruno Fernandes would probably have gotten man of the match. He was shooting a lot. His pass accuracy was mental. He had the top amount of big chances created for their whole team. He was really, really, really good. So I think he was a decent buy. Anyone who brought him in can be happy that he didn't get points, but he is as good. Like, that was a great first game. Just wish it paid off for those that. But actually, you know what? I'm glad he didn't pay off because I didn't get him. But because we don't lie to each other here on the FPL stream, the FPL Dave stream. We're honest. I want you guys all to fail. But Martial is just shit, right? So Martial, we all knew, was kind of injury prone, and you either jump on him or you jump off, and he's like very streaky, just like Manchester United. He basically embodies Manchester United like gone for periods of time, quite streaky, but just still managed to get into our team somehow. He's a fucking asshole, right? Now, he's absolutely god awful. That game was the worst. The worst. And Greenwood is sitting on the bench, and he's a good player. I can't see Martial keeping his spot in the striker position. They've just bought a striker in. They've got Greenwood there. If Martial stays up top, I would be disappointed in Solskjaer. Like I don't think it's not a great. He's just not great. He's not great, which is really ridiculous because I did a Football Manager save in 2016 and he became the most expensive, best rated player of all time behind Messi and Ronaldo. His potential's through the roof, but he's just shit in real life. He's shit, and it's really annoying. So yeah. Let me read the chat a little bit. We have invaded. Oh, you're talking about the Wolves. Nice. IG Halo. Yeah, that's his name. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Igalo. No, that sounds too realistic. IG Halo is Bricky. Tucson Banjo still fucked. Yeah, I think he's gone. United Toxic Club at the moment. Stay away, says Latan. I'm streaming to you guys, but all the good shit's in the chat. We've got all of the Wolves. Shall I bring in Ings for DCL or Aguero to captain this week for Auba? I like your playing catch up. This is only considered if Aguero plays limited minutes in Champions League. So that's the thing, right? If you're risking it all, it's Aguero every time, right? Because risk involves reward, or else we wouldn't do it. It would just be shit. It's not risky to get Martial. It's just dumb, right? But Aguero, on the other hand, is absolutely viable. And we're going to go on strikers very soon. He did well. He just didn't finish any of his chances. He was in the right positions and all that good stuff. I think that on any other day, he would score. Now imagine you were able to captain a player who should have scored, is going to be really annoyed at himself, and then is playing fucking West Ham. That seems like a pretty decent deal. Ings is playing an easy team, but Aguero's the one you want to take a risk on. All right. If you can get Aguero one transfer, I'd be tempted and captain him. Playing catch up will make it fun at this stage, to be honest. I'm having a great time. I've been having a great time also. See, after the first 10 game weeks, I realized that I'd fucked it and I'm never ever going to recuperate what I've lost. Standard. I was like, let's just have fun. Became the class clown and everything. It was great. Lunchtime days are over, Bricky says. Yes. Bricky, you are behind. You are several minutes behind. No, you're right. Absolutely. He's and we're gonna go to Egan. We're gonna go to O'Connell. We're gonna go to Stevens. Lascelles. Williams is not really an option because he was benched, but he was an option when I had him, and now I have him, and I hope that he comes back. Even KWP and all those guys. All right. Next topic. The blank. The big one. No, the little one. The medium one. I would say medium because all the players that we want are in these teams, right? Ben Crellin is the man, and if you don't know where to go, he's got this pinned, this tweet. Here's the link to my big public FPL calendar spreadsheet with a wee calendar emote. Click on this, it comes to here. Now he's got content, calendar, blah, 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 but we're looking at the blank just now. Blank game week 28. Whew. Pretty much everyone is fine, right? But we've got Man City and Arsenal blanking, Aston Villa and Sheffield United blanking. If this was other teams, like say it was Leicester and Norwich, we were all wanting to get rid of Leicester anyway. So Sheffield United, we wouldn't be having this discussion. You triple up and you just move on, like Liverpool, right? And then on top of that, Aguero got 3 goals and 2 goals and 1 goal, and then he blanked last game week. You're absolutely going to bring in at least a couple of them if they weren't blanking. However, we've got 3 Sheffield United players we want, 2 Man City players we want, and also potentially an Arsenal player depending on how you're working your team structure. So it's a bit of a nightmare, right? It's a bit of a nightmare. So it's the main reason why I went for Henderson. I know a lot of people were going for Henderson, which kind of put me off him, but because I have Henderson, I'm now allowed to just play McCarthy and still have 3 bench spots. So in my bench spots for the game week 28, I'll show you what I'm working with, right? So can we all see that? Is that good? We'll zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so Ings is coming in. Oh, no, my team. Damn it. Right, Traore's playing. Okay, that's fine. So let's bring in Traore for here. McCarthy goes in for Henderson. Williams is going to have to come in for De Bruyne. And I've got Hayden in there for Aguero or Aubameyang. So let's say it's Aubameyang. Now, Aguero is going to need to get transferred out, and so is Egan. But everyone else in that team's playing. So it's worth it, right? I can have 2 free transfers by then. If I take out Aguero and I take out Egan, I could get Jimenez and I could get a Burnley defender or you know, a Southampton defender. I can do a lot of stuff, right? And that's absolutely fine. For anyone wildcarding right now, it makes it a bit more difficult because I have that free transfer. So I can then move that on. You guys have unlimited transfers, yes, but if you're wanting to go for the triple, up in Sheffield United, if you want to get Mahrez and Aguero or Aguero and De Bruyne or whatever, you start adding all these players. You're gonna only have 2 free transfers by the time we get to the blank game week, whereas I'm gonna have 3. So it's a little bit your strategy. You guys are gonna need to pay more attention to these clashes that are gonna happen. So for you, Henderson is absolutely a necessity if you want to triple up. If you're gonna go for, I would even say that only 2 of them are fine. Lascelles is such a good option that you might as well go for him. And then maybe even only get 1 of Aguero or Aubameyang and just swap one of them out, like actually transfer him out, and then decide after the blank who you want to bring in. Because after the blank, we're going to find out a lot more information about the blank game week 31 or the double game week 31 or whatever. We're just going to have a lot more information by then. So there's no point in putting all your eggs in the basket the same as I did, because there's a lot more to think about now. For me, it's just a case of I need to transfer 2 players out by game week 28. And I set my team up such in which I shouldn't have any other issues. You guys are going to have a bit of a harder time, but that's okay. For anyone who's not wildcarding right now and your team's kind of similar to this, then it is a case of just making sure that all your bench plays and not going too mental. Hits are fine because everyone's going to be taking hits, all that good stuff, all the classic advice that people give you. Hits are fine if everyone's taking them. Try not to do it. Try not to use a free hit. That's something that people are kind of bringing up a lot. Don't use your free hit. You're going to need your fucking free hit. Please don't use it. If I see anyone using a free hit in my stream league, I'm kicking you out. No, I'm just kidding. It could be a strategy. I know there's a game week 29 bench boost free hit like strat that's been going on Twitter. I didn't read it. It was going to take too long to read it. Just be smart with your chips. Wildcarding this week is fine. Wildcarding last week was fine, but you guys are going to have to pay a bit more attention to the blanks. And just as a recap, there it is here. Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Man City, and Arsenal. I have Stevens and Fleck, and I only have 10 players playing. Is worth getting rid of both Sheffield United or just one? I would probably get rid of Fleck and bring in Moy or like a shitter like Dendonker or Hayden and just kind of go on from there. I think that would be fine. Which midfielder, 8 million or less, would you take a punt on, want to move off of Grealish? If Traore's fine and you don't have him, I would absolutely be okay with that going. It's Love Island time. Oh no. I've lost four viewers to Love Island. We're going to do midfielders after strikers, but I'll just, you know what? We can just do it. I can show you. So this is something that was on Reddit. It was best cheap mid-price 7.3 midfielder for the next 3 fixtures. Obviously, Grealish is someone that people want to get away from. But it was basically a vote to see who everyone likes. And you know what? The only thing that really got me going here, the only thing that I was like, you know what? I actually wouldn't mind a wee piece of him, was Perez. Barnes is not going to play every single game. And if he does, that would be awesome. But he's not really going to get those returns every game. But I again, at the same time, do I really like Perez that much? I guess it's between those two. But then we know that Leicester are blanking in game week 31. So really, Traore is who we like the most. Mount is kind of flown off. Maddison is too much money when you can do Barnes or Perez. McNeil plays for Burnley, not going to do that. Man City, not going to do that. Or Man United, sorry. Zaha has been shite. Trossard, fine. Gross, fine. I'd prefer Moy and just save the cash. JWP, there's 2 or 3 other Southampton players you're going to want before him. But if you have to go for a Southampton midfielder, then it would be JWP, obviously. Fleck, Blankton 28, and you want to go for the defense. I would actually rather Lundstrom over Fleck just because of the opportunity to, you know, get a clean sheet, because they don't score as much. As we remember, we go back to this table. Sheffield United have scored 3 goals in the since December 28, and they've conceded 6 goals since December 28. But that is bad. 3 goals is actually the worst in the league. Expected goals is not the worst. They're 4th from the bottom, but they don't really score that much. So getting Fleck in, hoping for an attacking return, is probably not the way to go, lads. Just based on stats and all the rest of it. Kind of just get in with the clean sheets like we're doing. But yeah, these are all pretty much the mids that we like, and I don't really see much in them, right? So that's what if you're trying to get rid of a midfielder just now, it would be very difficult for me not to say just ditch all of them, like get the lowest amount that you can and then upgrade to like Aubameyang or someone. But that takes a couple of transfers. I don't know. I struggled on it. Most of my you get Salah, you've got KW. It's not KWP. Fucking hell. You've got, what's his fucking name? Blonde plays for Man City. Kevin De Bruyne. Figured it out. I didn't look at the thing. I didn't forget his name. Kevin De Bruyne. Everyone else is kind of just shite. So I've just went for Moy and Traore. They're just kind of easy. I would probably go, if you don't have Traore, just get him, because if he does good, then awesome. If he doesn't, it's not that big a deal. He's not worth that much money, and he doesn't blank at all. And that's really what we're going for. Midfield's kind of dead at this point in time. I do like Bruno Fernandes as a fun pick though, and he is 8 million. So I do like him. Do I replace Grealish or Fleck or Lundstrom? Yeah, Ariank, I think, or is it Aria NK24? Maybe it's Aria. Who knows? Lundstrom definitely. Show us the straw poll stats. And Zlatan says, I think Richarlison's still a good option, is playing out of position. Well, we did talk about that, didn't we? We talked about the fact that, you know, this scene here is all the good stuff that Everton can do against the big teams at the end of the season. So Richarlison might be a little like, you know, last horse comes out the gate, but eventually does okay and finishes 4th. You know what I mean? RIP. Right, so who are we voting for then on the straw poll? Do you want me to link it? You guys can have a look. Arian K24. Got it. Just realized you sold El Nene. F's in the chat. RIP El Nene. It was actually a sad day. I was considering doing it for a laugh and just keeping him in. But my season's turning around. And yeah, so let's just a minute of silence. Miss you, bro. R.I.P. El Nene. Most consistent. Most consistent player. The true Egyptian king. This is gonna put a strike on my channel, I fucking know it. Oh, it's actually sad. I was genuinely upset. And now I've got this fucking guy in there. Alright, so we were doing the mids. Who are we picking then? That's way too loud now. Who are we picking? I think I would just pick who I would actually pick, right? And who I'd actually pick is Traore. So he's probably going to be top, but it would be interesting to see who everyone else is. But yeah, so Traore's top. Grealish is still second best. Who was it? Was it Irons that asked? Who was it? Someone said, I'm trying to get rid of Grealish. I don't think he's a get rid. He reminds me of oh, here we go. Why would I bring up someone that he reminds me of if I can't remember names ever or nouns in general? Fuck it. I'm not even going to tell you who he reminds me of. He just runs the show, right? He runs the show. But mid, like I'm saying, like I've been saying, mid is dead. I'd rather spend 6 million on Dockery in the next couple of game weeks than spend 6 million on Grealish. All right, so shall we do the Aguero thing? So on the screen right now, left is Aguero. I can't scroll up. You just have to believe me, because I'm only allowed to show you guys a little bit of the Fantasy Football Scout thing. I'm only allowed to show you one thing at a time, one per stream. So this is what we're doing. All right. Aguero's on the left, and on the right is Aubameyang. And I just wanted to show you guys how they did, even though they blanked. How much is Scout? I think it's about 18 quid, Duffs. And it is worth it. It's worth it if you stream and you want to show a point on someone. El Nene should return on your free hit. Fucking belter of an idea. Yes, yes, we'll get him back. And we'll play Ava Maria backwards. Anyway, so Aguero, six goal attempts, 5 goal attempts in the box, 3 block shots, 1 on target, 2 off target, and a partridge and a pear tree. That's what you want in a premium striker. Someone who's in the box all the time, shooting all the time, and it was just unlucky. His minutes per attempt were 10. Fucking 10. Actually makes me more annoyed when I look at the the old stats, but there you go. So Aguero, totally fine. You all watched it. You seen the post that he hit. That was an off-target shot, the one that he hit the post with. So a lot of good stuff coming from him. Excuse me. I better not be getting a fucking virus. Oh, it's not the time to be getting viruses. And then if we look at, I'll scroll up a little bit so you guys can see it. Oh, you're getting a bit of Aguero passing. You're not allowed to see this. Don't look at how many times he's passed. Aubameyang's on the right hand side, and we've got goal attempts 3, goal attempts in the box 3, headed of those. We all seen that miss. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Sorry. Big chances 2. So he's getting in good positions. They know that he's their best chance of scoring. He doesn't really do that much shooting, so the fact that he got 3 attempts is not bad. But the one thing that I did want to point out is that he actually made 2 big chances himself. There was a really good point where he was on the left wing and he crossed it over, and Lacazette tried to header it and just missed out. It's probably their best chance of the game, and that would have been an assist for So Aubameyang, again, although he didn't shoot as much, he did create a couple of good, like actual good chances. So either one of those, despite them blanking, are still good choices. You're just going to have to bench them in 2 game weeks. But that's not a huge deal, because both of them, I mean, Man City don't have great fixtures. They've got West Ham, which is probably the best fixture. But after that, not so great. Aubameyang has a few good ones in him after that. So, and then he plays Portsmouth and is going to get his ass handed to him. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this. Now I want to, and also a lot of players who kept Vardy. Now put your hands up in the air if you kept Vardy in your team. I'm going to show you his stats. His stats will be on the left hand side. I'm going to click this. So on the right hand, I think is still Aubameyang. On the left side is going to be Vardy. You ready for this? The difference between it. That's Vardy right there. Goal attempts 1. It was in the box. That's it. That's it. Not very good. And it was a good save too, wasn't it? It was a good save, but he only had 1 attempt. That's not the Vardy we know and love. That is the Vardy after having a baby and his wife going mental and selling pictures and stories to the Daily Mail and the Sun. So that just kind of puts fuel on the fire to anyone who still has him to actually go for one of these guys. That like the difference between that is phenomenal. It's just mental. So yeah, it's just something I wanted to show you guys. All right, so that's pretty much the stream, lads. Oh, before you go, Has everyone guessed who the General's replacement is on Fantasy Weekly? No one has guessed it right yet. People aren't even conceiving that this is a possibility. It is a huge name. You can't just get rid of. Someone give me a good analogy for a footballer. So you're a football club. You get rid of your striker, your star striker, and then you sign an even like similar striker. I was just about to insult Mark there. No, he's a great striker. Don't get me wrong. Mark is a brilliant striker, but you replace him very, very well with a person that just fits and is great and blah blah blah. Right? I think he's gonna do very well. He hasn't been guessed yet. So if we look at it, I'm going to go on to the actual thing. I'll link you guys to it. Because it is a big deal. And I'm really, really, really happy. And I can't wait. We're recording tomorrow. And it's going to be out on Wednesday. I think we're going to be telling everyone who it is Wednesday. And I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing at my tits. And I'm going to have James here on Thursday. And we're probably going to go over the blanks and a couple other FPL things, but we're probably just going to be talking about the person who's who's covering Mark for the foreseeable future, hopefully forever. We'll keep doing this forever and ever and ever. So yeah, let me get this link up here. You can guess who it is, and if you haven't guessed yet, is it IG Halo? It could have been. It might have been. Flapjack thought it was going to be Rebecca Vardy. That would have been hilarious. So here's the tweet right here. If you can guess our new panelist debuting this week, we'll give you a personalized RMT on the pod. So for anyone who's wildcarding, that is a great opportunity to get your name and your team on the pod. And loads of people have guessed. Lots of people guessed Flapjack, but Flapjack has said that it's not him. Someone guessed me. Chinese Tom guessed it was me. Etc., etc. And we go down and we digress, blah, 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 blah. Loads of people guessing. No one right so far, I don't think. I'll need to go and double check. You should do a poll that we can all vote for the wrong one. No, because I don't want people to... Imagine I was like, vote for your favorite, and then it wasn't the favorite that got it. It was like the last person voted for. That'd be so fun. It would be shit for the person. No, but what I thought was interesting is that we say, who do you think it's going to be? And there was a lot of people saying people who, I'm like, they're replacing fucking FPL General. One of the biggest people in the whole community. We're not going to get just anyone. You know what I mean? We're not just going to get anyone. It's going to be a belter. You guys are going to love it. I can't wait. I'm actually a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. Oh, anyway. Thank you so much for watching the stream, guys. If you enjoyed, I would be disappointed if it was Flapjack, says Zlatan. That's really funny. Oh, that's a wee shame. That's a wee shame. Flapjack would do a great job. Love him to bits. If you've enjoyed the stream, please let me know. I spent a lot of time just doing it up, making it look a little bit better. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if there's anything. I know you guys are in the chat right now, but you know, people are watching at home on YouTube in a couple of days' time. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that I missed that could make the stream a little bit better. And also, if you want to guess but you don't have a Twitter account, then fucking let me know there. And yeah, Fantasy Weekly is out on Wednesday, as per usual. I'm not telling anyone who it is. Definitely not telling anyone, because I'm too easily replaceable, like I said earlier today. They'll just kick me out. I can't tell anyone. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. And I will see you on Thursday for the Thursday before with Tongue and Loftus. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for showing up. And see ya. Bye. Bye.